So many song tutorials you will find recommend or suggest you use a capo or capo in order to match the pitch, the sound of the original song. Now, why is that? Well, because some songs are in difficult keys. So keys is simply put a collection of chords. Some keys are very difficult, but we can use the capo to enable us to use open chord shapes instead of these difficult chords. So they're great for beginner students. So capos, I've got a Kaiser capo here, they're really great. Also Dunlops do good ones, and Planet Waves good too. I've used them all in my videos. You've often got this mouth here that is on a spring. You want to open it nice and wide. The long bar is on the front. And say we're going to capo at fret number 3. So I put the capo over that 3rd fret, keeping it nice and wide, and I'm going to clamp down on those strings. Now you want to be careful when you do this. Make sure the capo is nice and wide, because you don't want to be pulling on any strings as you do so. Because if I do this, right now my guitar is in tune, he says. If I kind of demonstrate how not to do a capo, oh, that worked pretty well. But let me. There we go. That's on. No, that didn't work at all. Doesn't quite sound as nice. So you have to be really careful when you put the capo on. It's nice and wide, and everything comes down on top of the strings. In terms of its placement, you want to put it just behind the fret Y, as you would with your fingers, okay? And to be honest, it's a good idea if you can check your tuning after you place the capo. So how do you do that? Well, you just have to think about which fret your capo is on, and you need to use your chromatic tuner to match the pitches of the notes which would be at that fret. Now you might be going, but I don't know the notes. Well, what you can do is download my fretboard diagram. Link is in the description, and that gives you all the notes across the fretboard, so you'll always know which notes you should be tuning to. Okay? To take an example of the 3rd fret, I would expect to have a G, C, F, B flat, D, and G. That's what I would want to see on my chromatic tuner. And I would make sure that they are in tune, and then I'll be alright to play. Now, one last thing to bear in mind, and I'll say this here, I'll say this once. Just because the instructor says you play a C chord, you need to remember that with a capo, it is no longer a C chord to another musician, to another instrument, okay? You might say, yeah, but it's a C chord, but no, it's a C chord shape. Because if you're using your ears, if I play you a C chord, that's a C chord. If I put my capo at fret number 3, that does not sound the same. That is not a C chord, it's a C chord shape. I'm not going to go through what that chord is, that's going to be for a future course. But just bear that in mind, okay? So if ever you tell someone, oh, this is the progression, this, and things aren't working out, that's probably why, because you're saying the chords when you mean the chord shapes. Alright, so let's think about developing the strum with our chord progression.